Okay, you're good to go.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first ad hoc meeting of the year that we've had. We'll talk about, we're planning to talk about July monthly reports, where we are with the 2026 budget, some upcoming bond issuances that we have, and then any other business anybody might want to talk about. So July, general fund, our expenditures, as you can see by this chart right here, pretty much everybody is tracking under target as of July. Police is over just a little bit, but we'll discuss why that is as we go through the slides. Let you look at the chart for a second. So my department, we're over a little bit just due to timing of our uniform and some contract service payments, which more so are for our Workday CVS team that's working with us. Fire is over slightly in capital because they bought a used apparatus, which will be covered by general fund reserve. So that's not an issue. They're also over in vehicle repairs, which we're seeing citywide, which you'll see in each one of these bullets. Information technology is slightly over in capital purchases, but that's basically just due to timing of when they're doing those projects. They're a little bit ahead of schedule. Parks is over slightly due to the fencing that we put in at the Johns Island Park practice field, and that's also going to be covered by general fund reserve, so also not a concern. Police is over in operating capital and in total. Over time, they've already exceeded their total budget for the year, so we're watching that, and we'll be discussing that with them for next year. Their operating is over because of the Animal Society payment that we all have talked about. That was not something that they budgeted. That's where we are paying that out of, but we will cover that either by revenues that are over, or we need to use general fund reserves, which we talked about at council. And then operating is over due to vehicle repairs. They have insurance recoveries that will cover most of that overage, so we should be okay. And then their capital is over a target, but mostly due to timing of projects or purchases of capital items. Public service is also over in vehicle repairs. And then traffic and transportation is over in operating. That's due to a brick crosswalk project that will be covered by general fund reserve, so also not an issue. Any questions on any of those things? All right, and this is just a graph kind of showing where we are for each of the departments. And then revenues, we're looking okay. Property taxes are over target, but those are mostly motor vehicle taxes. There's some personal property and watercraft, and then delinquent real property, but most of that is motor vehicle taxes. I'll go through all of these as well. Everybody good? So like I said, property taxes, licenses is mostly business licenses, which are trending over target. We will have, we'll get one more payment from the municipal association for insurance. So we're expecting business licenses to be over budget this year by the end of the year. Permits and fees are over target, which is mainly due to permit center fees, building inspections, planning fees, and then also T&T fees. T&T did tell us one project constitutes 25% of the fees collected by T&T. So that was a larger project that they were seeing.
Amy, if I may, just one thing I did want to highlight here. I mean, we don't have the details and we're still working on it. But I met with Amy and Andrew, and we've been looking at some of the business license fees and the rates that various businesses are paying, in particular some of the hospitality industry. And you know, not saying we're definitely going to do anything, but in reviewing it, and we'll certainly come back to this group on any action to be taken. But I think there's opportunity for additional revenues on business license fees related to hotels. So just wanted to throw that out there, not we don't have any specifics yet. It's in the beginning, but wanted to just put it on your radar that more information on that would be coming.
And then also for business licenses, this is the year for 2026. We've been looking at all our business licenses because the rate classes have to change according to the 2-year requirement by the municipal association. So we're also working through all of that as well. Any other questions? All right. Intergovernmental, state and local. This is mostly local option sales tax. This is only through June. There's a 2-month lag we have for this revenue and receiving it from the state. We're noticing so far Charleston County is 3.8% above target, but Berkeley County is under by 1.72%. So we're watching that. Other 2 things in this category are aid to subdivisions, which we have not received from the state yet. Again, somewhat of a lag in receiving that revenue. And then also the state signalization contract as well, so which we haven't seen that. So those are 2 things, which is making that under so far this year, just because we haven't received those revenues. Franchise fees, they're under budget by $922,000. We talked with Dominion about this. They are saying that this is how they were allowed to charge for fuel costs, but they expect to see that change next year, and we will get an increase because they can now pass those costs on to their customers. So that was something that was somewhat of an anomaly with franchise fees. Any questions on that? And then interest income looks a little bit slightly elevated because of the 2025 GO bond Series B for the fire training facility meeting ops building. That's the premium that is recorded there. So it looks a little overinflated just because of that. Sales and user charges over target, mostly due to recreation fees. Our recreation programs are very successful. Rents are under target due to timing of some rents, and some have not been collected. And then miscellaneous charges are over target due mainly to penalties on business licenses. And then miscellaneous revenues are due to insurance recoveries, which we talked about with the police department. That's also regular fleet as well. Insurance recoveries that will cover some of the costs of the overages of the vehicle repairs for our normal fleet as well. Any questions on any of that? Okay, enterprise funds. Angel Oak is doing okay. They're almost at break even. City Market is doing okay. Ballpark is the ballpark. Golf course is doing okay. Old Slave Mart and parking facilities, but I have more slides on all of these that we can discuss. So Angel Oak revenues are over target, expenses are under target, so they're operating almost at break even at this point. Same with the City Market. Their loss to date is less than expected. Same with the ballpark. And the municipal golf course revenues are at target, expenses are a little over target, mostly due to personnel expenses and agricultural supplies. Any questions on any of those? Old Slave Mart revenues are 18% under target. Profit today is about 53,000 less than anticipated. We are noticing with Old Slave Mart, same with the old Exchange building, our visitation is down for both of those locations. And in talking to other museums in the city, their visitation is also down, same with the aquarium. So they're all talking with each other about that, but we are noticing visitation is down. So we're paying attention to that as well. Parking revenues are doing okay. The violations are slightly over target. Meters have surpassed budget, which, we had the problem with our meters for a while, so that's been resolved. So we're seeing our revenue come back from that. One thing we noticed is garages and lots are under target. There's 3 garages that are underperforming that we noticed that we just wanted to bring your attention. Charleston Place, but that's most likely due to the renovations that are happening there. The aquarium garage, it's due to transient parking because we're noticing transient parking is down. And then the Midtown garage, which majority of the parkers there are from the hotel, and also an indication of the decrease in transient parking. So again, something we're watching for 2026 when we're thinking about our revenue projections and what might be going on in the economy. Any questions there? All right, stormwater is doing okay. Revenues are tracking over target so far, and expenditures are under target. So no concerns there.
Amy, with regards to the, just for clarity, even for council members on the call, the additional stormwater collections will hit at the end of the year or January.
So we're moving the collections to the property tax bills. So they
Right.
will be on the property tax bills that everybody gets in October. So we'll receive some, by the end of the year, and then January, February. And those we're collecting for 2026. So we do not have a cash flow issue. So everybody will pay through the end of this year on their CWS bills through December. And then going forward, it'll just be on your tax bills. And we're collecting ahead so that for the next year. That makes sense. Okay. Tourism, we're doing okay. Municipal A tax is above our target. Same with A tax, slightly above, and same with hospitality fees. We're noticing with A tax, it's a little bit wonky, for lack of a better word. We're noticing some significant swings in the revenue from month to month. I think it's probably how the county is collecting and remitting the funds to us. So we're just trying to watch that to see, because it seems like it's not following state A tax as much as it typically does. And then state A tax, we're slightly over target. Hospitality, we're very slightly over budget. I don't remember in our conversations last year, we were very conservative in how we budgeted 2025, just because of the trends that we had been seeing over the last couple of years. Prior to 2024, we were seeing 8 to 11% range growth, and it leveled off in 2024, and we're not seeing any growth in 2025, which is what we anticipated. So just to note that. And again, watching that to see, we've talked about this before too. We had such an influx of tourism after COVID that we think things are probably just leveling off. But again, watching it, just noting what's going on in the economy right now as well. Any questions?
I've got a quick question, Amy,
Sure.
before we run off. Are we noticing any bump associated with like Airbnb now directly paying us accommodations taxes in light of that settlement, or is it still too early to tell?
I think it's a little too early to tell, and I'd have to get a better report from, this is just in total, Councilman Rappel, so I can't tell like where it's coming from, but we can look at it. But I think it's probably just a little bit too early to see that.
Got it. Yeah, I'm interested to see how that'll impact us as we move forward, and hopefully more of these market facilitators begin direct remittances to us, as opposed to having to worry about all these individual property owners filing things properly and things like that. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, for our next meeting, we'll look at that. I'll let you know if we can tell yet.
Cool.
I think sometimes
Thank you.
it's hard too with the way that their business licenses work, that if we can actually track STRs from, municipal A tax especially, so the way it comes from the county, it's hard for us to differentiate between STRs and regular hotels. So I think the county is working on that, but I'll get back with you on that.
Cool.
Okay, and then just for 2026 budget update, all the departments have turned in all their budget requests. You all have invites for the ad hoc committee meetings for the remainder of the year. We'll talk about the capital improvement plan in October. Accommodations tax and community assistance grants are due August 29th, and it's a little early, but we do think we're going to have an uptick in the number of applicants, probably because of the federal government's cuts in those areas. And the mayor did ask that we increase that by $100,000. So we're building that into the budget for a future discussion amongst all of us, but that's where we are with that. Just our process timeline. In September and October, that's when all of the section chiefs and department heads will come to y'all and discuss their asks. And late October, we'll finalize our revenue projections. Remember, this is a reassessment year for property taxes in Charleston County. So there's a whole calculation that we have to do for property taxes, rollback calculation. So that will affect our millage, but the revenue will stay the same if that makes sense. So we'll be working on that as well as soon as we get the assessments from Charleston County. And then we'll have the balanced budget presented to you in early November. It will go to full council mid-November, and then the first and second reading in December. Preliminarily, what we're noticing, there's an uptick in requests submitted by departments for this year for 2026. I mean, our budget analysts are pulling through all the requests and cleaning things up so that when we send them to you all, they are clean and understandable, for lack of a better word. Councilmember Gregg, you had a question?
Yeah. On the rollback on the millage, so will that be submitted to Berkeley County in time for the adjustment on the Berkeley County tax bills? Because remember, we already paid the higher millage last year because Berkeley County did reassessments last year.
It will, because we only can have one millage, right? One millage rate. So hopefully, yes, I know that Berkeley County gets very impatient with us on when we get it, but it's just kind of dependent on when Charleston County can get us the information for us to do the calculation. So we try to do it as fast as we can. They're usually pretty understanding of that.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that it gets to Berkeley County before property tax bills go out this year.
It has to get to them. They can't send property tax bills out without having our millage. So
okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
But okay, so you have to, you're gonna have to have it the adjusted millage. I don't know. This is, yet another reason why we need to get Berkeley County and Charleston County on the same schedule. But that's probably a bigger task than we can get accomplished on this call today.
I think it is, yes. Not on this call today, anyway. So.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, sure. So we'll have all of that cleaned up and we'll start going through all the requests with all of you in September. The September 3rd meeting is where the section chiefs and department heads will start reporting out to you all. So we'll send that schedule as well. Fact of life increases that we know of right now, healthcare, there's a notable increase in healthcare for 2026, just based on industry standard and some of the city's high dollar claims. So we're projecting an increase of $3.6 million. We have HR committee next week, which will be going through all of this in a little bit more detail there. Community assistance grants, like I just discussed, up by 100,000. We have debt service. We already have the GO bond for the Municipal Operations Center and fire training. And I will talk more about this in this presentation about the future debt service that we will have. But the West Ashley office building, predicting about a $1.9 million payment. Yes, Mayor, Councilmember Gregg has a question.
Oh, sorry. Well, the 3.6 million on the healthcare increase, what is that percentage wise?
9%.
Okay.
Yes. Okay,
You'll
so
get more clarity on this, Councilman Gregg, but right now, we don't have to get into the details of it now, but it's actually a good bit more than that. We're looking at ways to bring the number down too, just to try and get it there. So healthcare costs have skyrocketed. So it's a real issue.
Okay, thank you.
we have to replace our radios. This comes up usually every 5 to 6 years. So we'll have a Motorola lease in the amount of $7.5 million for CPD, CFD, and general government. That will be a debt payment of $1.5 million in 2026. We have Fire Station 8, a revolving loan for $4 million, which will be probably the $1.35 million. That would be a 5-year loan to help us with the renovations at Fire Station 8. Charleston Animal Society contract, which is almost $1 million. And then there's some general fund salary increases for partial year funded positions. Some of those are the fire department positions that we budgeted for half a year, firefighter, I should say, and other unbudgeted positions that were added. So that's going to be about 3.75. So right now, all of that is about $14.7 million. And then these are the upcoming bond issues that we have on Ways and Means for our council meetings next week. We have 4 TIF borrowings that are coming to you, ordinances, I should say, that are coming to you. One is for the West Ashley TIF, an amount not exceeding 5.5 million. For this TIF, we're coming up on the 10-year mark for it that we have to borrow within 10 years. So we're going to go ahead and do this borrowing. There are some infrastructure improvements that are related to the Eden's development that we will use to pay back those infrastructure costs. And there was a resolution last council meeting that you all approved to include that area in the TIF to reimburse those costs. Any questions on that one?
Yeah, I do. Now, when you say West Ashley TIF, you said Eden's. This isn't the West. Be
The
confused with.
Sumar, yeah.
Okay,
Mhm. The Sumar Street development. And then the Morrison Drive TIF, an amount not to exceed 10 million. We have a PI agreement, a public infrastructure improvements agreement with Morrison Yard owner LLC to reimburse them for certain public improvements for $6.1 million. So this borrowing will go to reimburse them. And then there are Morrison Drive improvements, the meeting improvements that we're currently doing that we will utilize this TIF to reimburse for those expenses as well. Any questions on that one? Okay, and then the Cooper River Bridge TIF, which we talked about this early in the year or late last year for some of the projects, that will be an amount not to exceed 35.5 million. And those are the projects that we had identified before to use TIF funds for. And then I know it's more than the 35.5, but we also have the $30 million in cash on hand for those projects.
Ms. Wharton,
Yes.
on the Cooper River drainage improvements,
Mhm.
didn't we have a grant of a sizable amount through stormwater? Because I know it's going to cost a whole lot more than 3.1.
We have that. We also, in the first borrowing, Councilmember Waring, we have money set aside in that first borrowing also for that project. So this is just for the second borrowing. I can get you how we're paying for that one project, all the costs if you want me to.
Okay, good.
All the funding sources, I can get that.
Thank you.
Any other questions on that? Okay, and then the Charleston Neck TIF, an amount not to exceed 22. This is all for Highland Resources to, that's the development and PI agreement that we have with them for public infrastructure improvements, and that will go to reimburse them for those improvements. All right, and then there will be 2 other bonds that will come in the fall, at some point in the fall. One for the West Ashley office building, and then the other is for the police fleet maintenance garage and the purchase of land in Cainhoy for Fire Station 22. We're estimating for the West Ashley office building not to exceed 27 million, will most likely be a GO bond, depending on if we choose 15 or 20-year term for those bonds. For that bond, it will be almost 1.97 or 2.4 million. And then installment purchase revenue bond for the police fleet maintenance garage and the purchase of the land. That will be paid out of the public safety infrastructure millage, so that will not hit the general fund. The cost of the garage is 14 million. We have 3 million on hand now, and then the cost of land for the fire station is 7.565 million. So the borrowing will be approximately $20 million, and depending on the term of the loan, it will be 1.77 or 1.45.
So the police garage, that's gonna be on the property down by the West Ashley Circle that we
That's
own?
this Executive Hall and Savage Road property that
Executive
we
Hall.
purchased.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lots of money going into West Ashley.
Yeah, you're right. We appreciate it, man. We'll give you something back.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, and that's really all I had. Does anybody have any questions on anything or need anything else from me?
Well, since I brought it up, I mean, we can get this later on, but the West Ashley Circle TIF. I mean, do we have any revenue in it?
The Church Creek? You talking about the Church Creek drain? Yes, there, I can get you, so because we have not done borrowing on those, we only capture revenue for the first borrowing that we have, but we estimated, I have that right here. The estimated or the initial equalized assessed value for that was 3.3 million, and in 2024 it has grown to 14.9 million.
That's
So
great.
there is growth in that TIF.
And how many years we got left on it?
That goes to Church Creek. Let me hold on one second. That goes to 2043.
Okay, good. One reason I'm bringing it up, Mr. Mayor, is in 2015, that's when we had was it 24 inches of rain in 48 hours, and obviously had tremendous flooding down there. We had a number of initiatives, and Kevin, you can kind of chime in here, fixes, but to the day, I still don't know what the fix is. I don't think we've decided on a fix. At one time, it involved a pump station. Of course, we got away from that. And but at the end of the day, we've been very, very fortunate down there because we hadn't had that kind of rain. But boy, when we do, the low line area still exists, and the water has problems getting out and getting beyond the railroad bed and out to Church Creek. So, what that solution is going to be, because I'll put it on stormwater, I mean, on Public Works to kind of get an update on that. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a fix. We're going to need money to put in a separate
Agreed.
outfall someplace.
And a lot's changed over there too since 2015. I mean, just in
Right.
terms of what original plans might have been versus where we are now. I mean, some would certainly still be relevant. Some actions have obviously been taken, but
Right.
there have just been a lot of changes that we need to take into account too.
Agreed. Yeah.
Great presentation, Amy.
Thank you. So we will
Anything
meet again on September 3rd at 3 o'clock. And we're putting together which section chiefs or department heads will present at that meeting.
Got it.
Yeah,
Anything
one
else?
question. We early
Okay.
into the process, but didn't we had a HR study done? Did the results ever come back?
You talking about the
Compensation study.
compensation study?
Right.
Yeah, it's come back. It had issues with it because of some of the inputs that were there. We've been working with the consultant. We've actually made a lot of progress on that. And the bottom line is we're having to update some of the job descriptions to get a more accurate assessment completed. We were hoping to have that done by July 1, but it's candidly been a little bit heavier of a undertaking than we had anticipated. But we are committed to finalizing it, and the consultant's been good to work with. And we should have that updated. The goal is to have that contemplated for the budget cycle here so we can put some money aside for additional compensation for employees in the 26 budget. We just don't know what it's going to be yet.
Gotcha. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's really important. Didn't want this budget cycle to pass that by.
Agreed.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Appreciate everybody's time. Anything else, Amy, from you?
I don't think so.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.